I didn't think much of the first note. It was taped to my bathroom mirror with a piece of blue painter's tape. It simply said, "Don't answer the door after 11:17 p.m. No signature, no explanation. The handwriting looked strangely familiar, but I assumed it belonged to my roommate. Except I didn't have a roommate. I live alone in a one-bedroom apartment outside Portland. I'm a freelance video editor, so I spend most of my time at home. My days blur together: coffee, editing, sleeping, repeat. The only people who ever visit are delivery drivers. At first I thought maybe someone had broken in as a prank. The locks weren't damaged. Nothing was missing. Just the note. I laughed, threw it away, and forgot about it. Until the next morning. There was another one. This time it was sitting on my keyboard. You ignored the first warning. I checked my security camera. The footage showed exactly what I expected. Nothing. No movement. No visitors. The only person entering my apartment was me. I started paying attention. Every night before bed I cleaned the apartment. No papers. No sticky notes. Nothing. Every morning another message appeared. Sometimes on the refrigerator. Sometimes inside the microwave. Sometimes folded neatly inside my shoes. The messages became more specific. Stop opening the bedroom closet. I hadn't opened it in 2 days. Another. You looked outside again. I had. At exactly 2:13 a.m. after hearing someone whistle below my window. Another. He knows you can see him now. That one made me stop sleeping. I became obsessed with catching whoever was doing this. I bought 2 more security cameras. Covered every angle. Even pointed one directly at my bedroom. I synchronized every camera to cloud storage. The next morning there was another note. Cameras don't record everything. I rushed to check the footage. Every camera froze. Not permanently. Just for exactly 3 minutes. From 3:14 a.m. until 3:17 a.m. Every single night. The recording skipped ahead without any error message. Those 3 minutes simply didn't exist. I contacted the apartment manager. She reviewed hallway cameras. Nobody approached my door. Nobody entered. She even joked that maybe I was sleepwalking. That annoyed me enough to buy a smartwatch that tracked my sleep. For the next week it showed I never left the bed. Yet every morning a new message. The handwriting kept bothering me. It looked familiar. Too familiar. I dug through an old box of paperwork. Tax forms. College notebooks. Birthday cards. Then I found an old grocery list I'd written years earlier. Milk, eggs, coffee. The handwriting matched perfectly. Exactly. Every curve. Every letter. Every tiny mistake in how I wrote lowercase g. Someone wasn't copying my handwriting. It was my handwriting. I convinced myself there had to be a medical explanation. Stress. Memory problems. Sleepwalking. Maybe I was writing them myself. So I stayed awake all night. Energy drinks. Coffee. Cold showers. By 3 a.m. I felt awful. At 3:12 I sat on the couch staring at the bedroom door. 3:13. Nothing. 3:14. I blinked. Just once. When I looked back it was 3:18. 4 minutes gone. My coffee was cold. The TV had turned itself off. And there was a folded note resting on my knee. I don't remember picking it up. Inside one sentence. You finally noticed the missing time. That was enough. I went to a neurologist. Blood tests. Sleep study. Everything normal. No seizures. No blackouts. Nothing. I even showed the doctor the notes. He asked why every one of them was written with the same pen. I hadn't noticed. They were. Same black gel ink. Same pressure marks. Same brand. Exactly like the pens sitting in my desk drawer. I stopped sleeping in the apartment. I checked into a hotel across town. No cameras. No notes. No missing time. I thought I'd solved it. Until housekeeping knocked the next morning. She handed me an envelope she'd found tucked under my door. Inside another note. Changing locations won't help. I drove 3 hours to my parents' house. I didn't tell them why. I just needed somewhere safe. That night I slept in my childhood bedroom. No interruptions. No strange noises. When I woke up, there was a folded sheet of paper resting on the pillow beside my head. My mother swore nobody entered the room. The front door had been locked all night. The note read, "He followed you here too." That's when I finally did something I should have done weeks earlier. I dusted one of the notes for fingerprints. Mine. Only mine. Every single one. The police politely suggested therapy. Without evidence of another person, there wasn't much they could investigate. One officer quietly asked whether I'd ever experienced dissociation. I wanted to believe him. I really did. Because the alternative made even less sense. I decided to destroy every note. I burned them in a metal trash can behind my apartment building. Watched every page turn into ash. I felt relieved for the first time in weeks. The next morning, a fresh stack waited on my kitchen table. Maybe 20 pages. The first page said, "Burning the evidence doesn't change what already happened." The last page was different. It wasn't a warning. It was a list. Dates. Times. Addresses. Every place I'd lived since college. Every hotel. Every apartment. Even places I'd only visited once. Next to each address, one word. Found. At the bottom there was one address I didn't recognize. A small cabin outside Mount Hood. Alongside it was tomorrow's date. Nothing else. I searched public records. The cabin existed. It had been abandoned for years. I told myself I wasn't going. Obviously. Why would I? The next morning my car keys were gone. After tearing apart the apartment, I finally found them. Already sitting inside my car's ignition. The gas tank was full. I never fill it completely. And lying on the driver's seat was one last note. Only 5 words. "You're already late." I never drove to the cabin. At least I don't think I did. Because when I checked my phone that evening, there were 143 photos I'd never taken. Every single one showed the same abandoned cabin. Closer each time. The final image wasn't of the building. It was the front window. Someone stood inside, watching the camera. The face was too dark to recognize, but I could clearly see one thing. He was holding a sheet of paper against the glass. When I zoomed in, I could read exactly what it said. "See you tomorrow."